For most of human history, these communities were lost to view, but today, diving equipment, robots, submarines, and underwater cameras bring them back to life. While they may not be the mythical Atlantis, here are 9 cities that have been found underwater. Number 9. Port Royal, Jamaica. Port Royal, once called the most wicked and sinful city in the world, was famous all over for its liquor, parties, and pirate activities. Until June 1692, when a massive 7.5 earthquake consumed the city, with 2/3 of it sinking into the sea, killing more than 2,000 of its inhabitants in the process. Edmund Harth, a survivor, wrote that the earth opened and swallowed many people before my face, and the sea I saw came mounting in over the wall, upon which I concluded it impossible to escape. The English and their pirate friends were relatively new to the area at the time and had set up their stronghold there to try to attack the Spanish who were occupying Hispaniola. For years, people believed that the horrific event was punishment for all of the sins committed within. Once one of the largest European cities in the New World, Port Royal has continued to sink, with much of it sitting 40 feet below the ocean surface. Many 17th century buildings are still intact and undisturbed, and it has been compared to Pompeii for its archaeological wonders. Number 8. Sunken City of Cuba. In 2001, a company called Advanced Digital Communications, ADC, was working with Fidel Castro's government to explore Cuban waters looking for sunken Spanish ships loaded with treasure. Their sonar equipment picked up a series of geometrical structures lying on the bottom of the ocean. Here's a computer-generated image of the pyramids and other structures that they found. The structures and design made it look like there was a gigantic city at the bottom of the Bermuda Triangle. The media went crazy, claiming that Atlantis had been discovered in Cuba. There are local legends of the Maya and native Yucatecos that tell of an island inhabited by their ancestors that vanished beneath the waves. If it's true the structures were made by an ancient civilization, they would have been the most technologically advanced structures on the planet at that time. Scientists estimate that they would have been built about 50,000 years ago, which doesn't seem very likely. The numerous structures and cities that have been discovered underwater around the world lie less than 120 meters below sea level, which comes as no surprise since the sea level never fell below this mark during the time Homo sapiens walked the earth. This Cuban city, if we can call it that, is the only exception since it is submerged over 700 meters underwater. If the large structures are actually pyramids, 2 of them are even larger than the pyramids of Giza and Cheops in Egypt. As of yet, there is no plausible explanation for the existence of this city, and ADC is still trying to investigate the site. Number 7. Lake Titicaca. Lake Titicaca is located in the Andes between Bolivia and Peru. It is the largest freshwater lake in South America and was the cradle of Peru's ancient civilizations, including the Inca. Their presence can be seen on Lake Titicaca by the ruins they left behind, including a mysterious underwater temple thought to be between 1,000 and 1,500 years old. In the Incan creation myth, the god Contiki Viracocha emerged from Lake Titicaca. After commanding the sun, moon, and the stars to rise, Viracocha created more human beings from stone. After bringing them to life, Viracocha commanded them to go and populate the world. The Incas therefore believed that Lake Titicaca was their place of origin and that upon death, their spirits would return to this lake. Archaeologists located a huge temple in 2000 after following a submerged road, and I'm sure following advice from locals. After 18 days of diving below the clear waters of Titicaca, scientists said that they had discovered a 660-foot long, 160-foot wide temple. Number 6. Gulf of Cambay. Remains of a lost city in Gulf of Cambay off the coast of India could rewrite history. Discovered in 2001 during a routing pollution survey, India's National Institute of Ocean Technology was using sonar equipment that identified huge geometrical structures 120 feet below the surface. Debris recovered from the site, including construction material, pottery, sections of walls, beads, pieces of sculpture, and human bones and teeth, has been carbon dated and found to be nearly nearly 9,500 years old. The first big cities on record in human history appeared in Mesopotamia around 4,500 years ago. Prior to that, everything consisted of small village settlements. Author and filmmaker Graham Hancock, who specializes in uncovering ancient civilizations, says that nothing else on the scale of the underwater cities of Cambay is known, creating a huge chronological problem with this discovery. It means that the whole model of the origins of civilization with which archaeologists have been working will have to be remade from scratch. It is believed that the area was submerged as ice caps melted at the end of the last ice age 9 to 10,000 years ago. Number 5. Alexandria. The ancient city of Alexandria, ruled by Egypt's last pharaoh Cleopatra, is almost perfectly preserved under the sea. More than 2,000 years after Alexander the Great founded Alexandria, archaeologists are now discovering its fabled remains. It is believed the city disappeared underwater due to a series of natural disasters, including tidal waves and earthquakes. Hidden for almost 1,600 years, it was rediscovered in 1998. Most archaeologists before then believed there was no hope in finding Alexandria as it had probably been destroyed. They were completely wrong. Scientists are now uncovering astonishing artifacts and rediscovering the architectural beauty and economic power of a city that ranked second only to ancient Rome. What may be the world's oldest surviving university complex has come to light, along with one of the 7 wonders of the world, the Lighthouse of Alexandria that guided ships safely into the Great Harbor for nearly 2,000 years. This Sphinx that the diver is photographing is 3,000 years old. The ghost from the past is being brought to light, and what used to be vague legends of Alexandria are now proof. There have recently been plans to build underwater tunnels throughout the city, making it the world's first underwater museum. Number 4. Pavlopetri, Greece. Nobody knows what the real name of this city is because it sank into the waters off the southern tip of Greece around 5,000 years ago. Pavlopetri is the modern name for the inlet where the ruins are submerged about 4 meters underwater. It claims to be the oldest known submerged city in the world. The city is incredibly well designed with roads, 2-story houses with gardens, temples, a cemetery, and a complex water management system. The city is so old that it existed in the period that the famed ancient Greek epic poem, the Iliad, was set in. Historians think Pavlopetri might have been destroyed by an earthquake that destroyed the Minoan civilization on Crete around 1000 BC. Number 3. Lion City. 130 feet underwater is a maze of temples, arches, roads, and houses. This is China's real-life Atlantis, although it was never lost and it was sunk on purpose. This was a massive government project that forced 290,000 people to relocate their homes as more than 1,300 villages and tens of thousands of acres of farmland were flooded and submerged. Even though this city is over 1,400 years old, it has only been submerged for about 60 years when the Chinese government decided to build the hydroelectric dam and create Qiandao Lake. Open to divers, the ancient ruins are in the process of being rediscovered and remapped with a new appreciation for the architecture and history that was almost lost. Another ancient city was also submerged in the lake. The city of Hechang is believed to date back even further. Number 2. Thonis-Heracleion. The Nile Delta used to be dotted by islands that have disappeared. There were some ancient historical texts that mentioned cities on these islands, but nothing substantial. Known as Heracleion by the ancient Greeks and Thonis by the ancient Egyptians, it was referred to as one of the places Helen visited with her lover Paris before the Trojan War. With a unique survey-based approach that utilizes the most sophisticated technical equipment, Frank Giotto and his team, in cooperation with the Egyptian Supreme Council of Antiquities, were able to locate, map, and excavate parts of the city of Thonis-Heracleion, which lies 6.5 kilometers off today's coastline. Recently excavated after 1,200 years underwater, the city has been slowly giving up its secrets. It's far from the coastline, about 6.5 kilometers off the current coast. Artifacts brought to the surface indicate the ancient city was once a massive trading center and bustling port city. More than 60 ancient shipwrecks have been found in the immediate area, along with hundreds of anchors, coins from across the sea, giant stone tablets inscribed in ancient Greek and Egyptian, and 16-foot sculptures that were thought to have once adorned the city's temples. Those temples have also remained eerily intact, complete with offerings and votives once given to the ancient Egyptian gods. What hasn't been determined exactly is how the lost city ended up at the bottom of the sea, although it's thought that the clay and sandy soil it was built on gave way after an earthquake. Be sure to subscribe and let us know if you have ever been to any of these cities. Number 1. Yonaguni Pyramids. In the mid-80s, divers discovered mysterious underwater rock terraces and pyramids off the coast of Yonaguni-jima. Yonaguni-jima is an island that lies near the southern tip of Japan's Ryukyu archipelago, about 75 miles off the eastern coast of Taiwan. At first, scientists believed they might be natural formations, but there are quarry marks and some writing on the stones and animal statues that have also been found. Now, some experts believe that the structures could be what is left of the mythical city of Mu, a fabled Pacific civilization rumored to have vanished beneath the waves. Masaki Kimura, a marine geologist from the University of Japan, has been studying the underwater pyramids for over 15 years. The structures include castle ruins, a triumphal arch, 5 temples, and at least 1 large stadium, all of which are connected by roads and water channels and are partly shielded by what could be huge retaining walls. Kimura believes the ruins date back to at least 5,000 years, based on the dates of stalactites found inside underwater caves that he says sank with the city. The theory is that the ancient city might have been sunk by an earthquake or tsunami around 2,000 years ago. Yonaguni invites tourists and researchers to dive freely around the site. If you want to know where you can be Indiana Jones in real life, click on the left. Did you know that the Earth has a heartbeat? To find out more about our amazing planet, click on the right. Be sure to subscribe and see you next time. Bye!